12-year-old, just a child in Nassau County, facing criminal charges after investigators say he brought 3 guns to his school. A police report detailing what happened at Lighthouse Christian School was that a teacher noticed the student was carrying around 2 lunch boxes, one heavier than the other. That's when a revolver, a semi-automatic pistol, and 2 boxes of ammunition were discovered in the lunchbox, and he was found carrying a 3rd gun. Thankfully, no one was hurt during all of this, but there are some other disturbing details that we took to a psychologist to get some more insight on. Here's On Your Side's Haley Harrison with the story.
Dr. David Cheshire says 12 years old is about the time when children start figuring out their own identities, and he said he'd be surprised if this student, it was the first time he was acting outside the norm at school.
The teachers may not have been aware of it, but I would suspect that maybe the peers were.
After his arrest, the police report says the school staff searched the student's desk and found a drawing of a man outside of a school with guns, surrounded by several dead bodies, covered in red marker signifying blood. The report also says the mother told a deputy that the boy recently, quote, accidentally killed the family's pet chihuahua with a pellet gun, which UF Health psychologist David Cheshire says is a huge red flag.
Whenever someone exhibits cruelty or aggression towards animals, it can be a sign of deeper rooted psychological problems or something. It's a warning sign under any circumstance. It'd be something that you'd want to look for help with.
And the psychologist, who used to work in schools himself, says there are many resources available to help. He encourages parents and students to reach out to school counselors, officials, a mental health psychologist, or a family doctor. Dr. Cheshire wants to remind us that everyone is under more stress right now due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He says good communication and supporting family, friends, and peers is more important than ever. In Nassau County, Haley Harrison, First Coast News, On Your Side.